Leave you laid out on the floor, try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back
Shout out to the hottest chat in the MF and game. A-Side official. No negotiation needed, period. You already know WCS is the first. And I'm back in the building. What's good, everyone? Let's get right down to it, man. We got various topics to talk about. Of course, boxing. We have some trending headliners. You know what I'm saying? We have some trending headliners outside the ropes. We're trying to see if they're going to make it inside the ropes where it counts. So, as we've been talking, we have Keyshawn Davis, who pretty much is in a verbal exchange of, some social media sparring going on between him and the newly crowned world champion, IBF super lightweight world champion Hitchins. And Hitchins pretty much called Calvin, Keyshawn's brother, a bum. And he pretty much said he will defeat Keyshawn Davis and Calvin in the same night. Now, let's just do away with the literal and let's just go with the figuratively speaking. Figuratively, that seems to hold a lot more comedy to it. We know we're not trying to see two opponents in one night. We're not trying to see, George Foreman, when he came back off his hiatus, he fought 5 guys, during his time after he took his first loss. But we must address it because it's pretty much pertaining to the local news. It's getting a share of buzz. You know what I'm saying? The honeycombs are coming along. It's getting a little sweet in the media. You know what I'm saying? The nest is in the beginning stages. But give it time, something may work out. Okay? Via Boxing News 24, right? They say Keyshawn Davis dismisses Hitchins despite impressive win. It said when his social media followers asked last Saturday night, Keyshawn Davis dismissed the idea of fighting newly crowned IBF light welterweight champion Hitchins. Richardson would be pure trouble due to his boxing skills, power, pinpoint accuracy, and his mobility. His ring IQ is on another level than Keyshawn's, and he's capable of beating him like Cuba's Andy Cruz did 4 times in the past. Now, this is Boxing News 24 because you know how they get down. They get dirty, grimy down. You know what I'm saying? They get down to the hand-me-downs. The article goes on to say the lightweight contender Keyshawn, 12 victories, 0 defeats, 8 coming by way of knockout, feels that he's above Hitchins, 19-0, 8 knockouts, due to his recent turnout of fans for his last fight on November 8th against Gustavo Lemos at the Scope Arena in Norfolk, Virginia. The attendance for Keyshawn homecoming fight against the light welterweight Lemos was 10,568. Okay. It goes on to say the businessman's strategy. I'm not going into all of this article, but I will start right here. It said instead of Davis taking on Cruz, he chose a recently beaten fighter, and now he's classifying him as one of the elites at 135. Here's a classic example of matchmaking 101, creating a manufactured star. You can't blame Keyshawn for the hustle. The fans are the ones that can't see what's happening. And whoever, this author, of course, he does make sense. You have fighters. Okay, first of all, let me back up. You had conversation that will praise Keyshawn for his Olympic pedigree. Then you have individuals that's praising him, include myself, for what he was able to do in Norfolk, Virginia. Then, if you go to the next step, you want to talk about the opposition for which he was able to do that in his hometown. Now, long as you understand he was in his hometown footprint, we good to go on a lot of things. We don't have to go in depth about it. Can he do that outside his hometown footprint is the bigger question. Now, he said manufactured star. It's a lot of fighters who own the conveyor belt, who's on the assembly line. Yes, WCS is not hesitant about saying that. There's a lot of fighters that's on the assembly line. They should be on the assembly line. How else is the promoter going to make their money? Now, it comes a time and a place where you have to identify which fighter doesn't need to go through the entire process of the assembly line, that you can kind of take them and they can polish themselves up in the ring. They cut from a different cloth. And you have some fighters that stays on the assembly line, and they have to continue to build and build and coddle and coddle and build and coddle and body, build and coddle and build and coddle and shit like that. And then they have enough confidence. Okay, this is ready for the road now. It's ready. Whew. It's been there for 3 years already. I'm glad to see it go. They finally get the fight off the assembly line. I don't see a problem with it, except if a fighter is hosting an incredible number of wins and they are at a point right now in their career where you're questioning who and why did they fight those opponents if they're trying to lay claim of being one of the best in the division. I feel it's a certain time of manufacturing that should occur. Real talk. It should happen because, we have to build up some fights. Some fights we don't. That's just the way it is. It depends on how heavy the division is. It's depending on who they're signed with. It's depending on, what their pedigree is, Olympic pedigree, if they have any. It just depends on a lot of variables. You feel me? It goes on to say Hitchins looked amazing last Saturday night on December 7th. Outboxing light welterweight champion Liam Paro, 25-1, 15 coming by way of knockout. Winning a 12-round split decision at the Coliseo Roberto Clemente in San Juan, Puerto Rico. The scores was 116-112, 116-112 for Hitchins, and 117-111. I had it 10-2 for Hitchins. It goes on to say, y'all keep talking about Hitchins. F Hitchins. I don't care about him, said Keyshawn Davis on social media. Last Saturday, following Richardson Hitchins' masterclass performance against IBF light welterweight champion Liam Paro in San Juan, Puerto Rico. And this is my take on this. This is my response. I don't mind the trash talk. I come from a trash talk era where trash talking, they used to put hands on each other, at the press conference. I come from that era where social media wasn't evident. I mean, wasn't relevant. It wasn't present and it wasn't relevant. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no way it can be relevant if it wasn't even present. That's what made it all the more authentic. That word of mouth travel. You know what I'm saying? It's a routine that I'm seeing with Keyshawn. He called Devin Haney a bitch for pretty much suing Ryan Garcia. He's had his share of words for Javonte Davis. Check this out. He had his share of words for Javonte Davis. You know what I'm saying? He said what he said. Now Hitchins, who is a 140-pounder, the same division for which Keyshawn had called out Teofimo Lopez, all of a sudden, Keyshawn is saying F Hitchins. So boxing fans, am I wrong to say that it's going to come a point in time where Keyshawn Davis, he's going to have to digest the same, denigration that he's giving all these other fighters? Like people don't want to hear you say F meaningful fights and you're an Olympian. They don't want to see that. They don't want to see you say F these meaningful competitive fight. If it's meaningful, you should fight. If the money is there, you should fight. Hitchins was able to do something that Keyshawn hasn't been able to accomplish yet. So of course, why does all the black fighters always have to be at each other's throat on social media? I mean, I don't know why that is. Why does it have to be that way? I wouldn't say all of them, because I don't, Crawford and Spence wasn't really at each other's throats. They wasn't really at each other's throats. They just, it's no way they could avoid one another. It was destined. You know what I'm saying? For them to meet center square. But with the 135-pound divisions, Keyshawn, you have to understand, if I'm praising you in one light for what you was able to do in your hometown, you shouldn't be so quick to forget that you're not willing to face Shakur Stevenson. And I don't know how long that's going to last, but I don't think it's going to last forever. If so, you all are going to hinder your entire legacy. Because this is a perfect division for Shakur Stevenson, Keyshawn Davis to unify for undisputed. The reason why I leave Javonte Davis out, because if he's indeed being absolutely honest and genuine about next year, he's planning on getting out in 26, right? Let's just say he leaves the sport, because plenty of fighters have retired. That don't mean once you retire. Teofimo's retired until they said, okay, we about to give your belt away. We're about to let somebody fight for the vacant. And then he came back out of retirement just like that. So boxing doesn't have a ban list or a freaking pamphlet of restrictions that you have to go through. Just like if you were suspended for popping positive on the test. Boxing doesn't have that for retirement. So anybody can retire, but let's just say Tank retire. Obviously, there is a huge opportunity for these two fighters to fight each other for big dollar bill. But Keyshawn, I'm being absolutely honest, and I'm not even being raw with it. But I want you to be clear that you're not going to have a leg to stand on, because you and Shakur continue to be bosom buddies, boxing buddies. You know what I'm saying? Build a boxer buddy. You all continue to be buddy, my buddy, your buddy. As long as we don't fight one another, we're just fine. My buddy, you all are going to go through the year of 2025 talking about F everybody else. Hitchins has the belt. You don't want to move up and try to test yourself at 140. You know what I'm saying? He's calling your brother a bum. He's calling you a bum. He wants to smoke. He called out Teofimo Lopez. Then you call out Teofimo Lopez. So what is it? Do y'all want to fight Teo, or do y'all just want to clout chase his name like they do Crawford? I mean, did they give y'all a goddamn extensive credit line, a clout credit? You know what I'm saying? Are you using up your clout credits now? I'm just curious. Let's keep it going. It said, bro, I already know what it is when it comes to me. I'm 12-0 and 8 knockouts, about to fight for a world title against WBA 140-pound champion. Berinchik. I'm knocking people out, putting on insane performances, selling out arena with 10,000 fans. So, okay. So how long are we going to hear what you did at home? That's no different than what Ennis did at home. That's no different than what Crawford was doing way back in his career when he brought freaking Yorkis Gamboa to the crib. You think that's what he's supposed to thrive on? He's supposed to bow tie that shit up every time a boxing conversation come about. He's supposed to dress it up like it's a tuxedo, a brand new tuxedo. It's the same one. That day is come and gone, brother. You didn't do no incredible numbers. You can't sit up here and say, "Oh, I'm 12-0, and I did 10,500, fans in my hometown." What does that have to do with Vegas? What does that have to do with Madison Square Garden? What does that have to do with the larger arenas? You know what I'm saying? You haven't proved that you can go in there and do what Tank did. Tank went in there with Ryan Garcia, who didn't even have a belt. And they did great numbers. I like Keyshawn's, grit. I like his PR. I love his PR, real talk. I love Keyshawn's PR, how he switched it up. Keyshawn has a personality for the fellas, his competition, you know what I'm saying? His compeers. He has a personality for the camera. You know what I'm saying? He's good for TV. I'm not gonna lie, when it comes to talking, he's good. He's still working on the performance value. It's there for a little bit, but if I had to choose between a Jahad Tucker or Keyshawn Davis, I would choose a Jahad Tucker fight any day of the week over a Keyshawn Davis contest. Real talk. I would choose a Jahad Tucker fight over Shakur Stevenson. It don't matter who he following his resume. Oscar Valdez, Jamel Harris, it don't freaking matter. I'm just saying, when it comes to entertainment value, it seems like the fighters are going off the company they keep. You know what I'm saying? You're saying you're doing this based off the opponents. The opponents that you have on your resume is your company. You all accompany one another on fight night. But then again, when it comes to the boxing fans, we're here to scrutinize who that person was. And Lemos wasn't undefeated. He wasn't anybody that was super, dangerous. You know what I'm saying? We still have to bring in the 50-50 mentality. Did they consider Lemos to be a 50-50 fighter going in there with you? So you have to understand. It's a lot of people felt that Ryan Garcia, who fought Gervonta Davis, was a 50-50 fight, Keyshawn. Keyshawn goes on to say, what can you say, bro? 11,000 fans. Nanson went up from 10,000 to 11,000. Y'all can't really say too much. That's what I'm saying, said Davis. I understand. Be braggadocious about what you was able to do. I salute what he was able to do in Norfolk, but that's come and gone. That's come and gone, bro. You know what I'm saying? One thing I can say about Shakur is definitely a 3-weight world champion. He's definitely a 3-weight world champion. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You're getting the opportunity for your first title shot. Is great. I'm not knocking that. But you're beginning to be a bit predictable with saying F this fighter and that fighter's a bitch and this, that, and the other. Bro, you have mad potential, but no one's going to believe if that potential is real and raw and organic until they see it play out in the motherfucking square, dog. against top tier opposition. That's all we saying out here. Every fighter that call you out now, look, you're criticizing Tank, and you're pretty much doing the same thing. Tank doesn't care about the belts, but you have to get a belt to validate yourself. Tank is doing the numbers. He's a pay-per-view star out here. No matter what people say, Tank is out here doing the pay-per-view. He is a true knockout artist. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. That guy legitimate. Until you go in there and knock out somebody that is considered a 50-50 fight or a greater than you, I don't know what you're trying to low key there, Keyshawn. You're trying to low key emulate yourself off Gervonta. For real. After a while, y'all, he gonna be talking about belts don't matter. See, one thing we know about Tank, he never even said nothing about no undisputed. He never said anything about undisputed. But when you are in a division where there's some big names, these media voices are going to start to propose that question to you. If you win this, you beat Baranchik, they're going to start asking, what's next? That's how boxing fans is. What's next, man? What's next? What's next? Are you going to fight Lomachenko, who's on vacation? Is he back from goddamn Cabo yet? Has he arrived back from Sweden, Denmark? Is he back? They're going to start asking those questions. Now, let's just say, for instance, Tank's WBA title comes available next year. Let's just say, you know what I'm saying? That he feels it's time to retire, to possibly let Turkey Al-Sheikh work up a bigger fight with Tank, come back and let y'all do what you're supposed to do. If you pick up 2 titles in that division, I'm pretty sure Shakur Stevenson is going to be like, I don't have to wait around to pick up another title. The promotions are different than Crawford and Spence. I don't have to wait around. I'm going to try to get me a title too. So what if Shakur Stevenson and Keyshawn Davis is sitting like Jose Ramirez and Josh Taylor? What y'all going to say? My buddy and your buddy, we're all buddies, just this one more time. We're buddies. What you going to do? Tell the fans, yeah, as much as we would like to fight each other, we just going to make the money. Sometimes, yeah, it's about legacy. We achieve legacy. We both unified champions. We both winning. So let's get this bag. I guarantee you, bro, Keyshawn is going to start emulating that of Gervonta Davis. Watch what I tell you. He's going to get to a certain point where it's going to be all about the money. Why? Because his alias is Business Key. Business come with what? Money. Belts don't necessarily, elevate you to money status. They can, depending on who you are. But you're trying to you want people to believe that you are Gervonta Davis, the next coming of Gervonta Davis. When Gervonta Davis pretty much was showing his opposition in the ring what a knockout looked like. Brutal. But now you're trying to convince Hitchins that you're a knockout artist. You're trying to convince Hitchins that you're a knockout artist. And in the process of convincing him, you tell him, F him. I sold 10,500 seats in Norfolk. And what does Hitchins got to do with that? He's a champion. He has a belt at 140. That's legacy, right? I mean, y'all need to make up your mind. Do y'all want legacy or what? I'm just curious. What do y'all want? Y'all want legacy? What are y'all dreaming about? Shout out to Mr. Gumbo, AK Hot Grease. What's good with it? Shout out to Mike in the building. What's good? Shout out to Paludis on deck. What's good? It says, is Keyshawn elite? I proved that I'm with the elites. I'm not just a fighter out here making noise. I'm with the elites, said Keyshawn to Mark Kriegel. I also sell. There were 10,000 fans. Who the band was tonight, said Davis about his win over Lemos on November 8th in Norfolk. Selling 10,000 plus tickets doesn't mean that Keyshawn is a star. It just means that Norfolk fans are willing to come to watch him fight, which may reflect that being a town with little entertainment compared to big cities. I have to say, man, you hit it on the head, this author. You know what I'm saying? Norfolk, Virginia is not one of those places that you have boxing matches there all the time, you know? But I understand, not to take away what Keyshawn has been able to accomplish. You know what I'm saying? But I have to move on. I just want him to understand that it seems like you're going to have that same Gervonta Davis mentality. You're going to be pretty much going off numbers. You want everybody to know numbers. You still ain't the A side against Tank. You're not the A side against Shakur Stevenson. You're not the A side against Lomachenko. The only one that you are 50-50 with, potentially 70-30, is Barincic. You know what I'm saying? You're not the A side against the other three champions in your division. And they don't want to hear what you did. You can't F with Tank when it comes to the numbers. Shakur is fought on the big stage out of Newark, away from Newark. He's fought on the big stage, headlined. I don't know what the numbers were. They wasn't anything crazy, but he's had the headlines before. In Newark, out of Newark. And then Lomachenko, same thing. He's fought on the big stage. So you really have some landscape to cover. Real talk. As you see over there, I put the link out there because I was pretty much curious about what I've been seeing out here, you know, about the Jerron Ennis situation. And I'm gonna keep on talking. And Ben is that why shouldn't I talk about it? Why shouldn't I talk about it? They're like Crawford and Spence was 3, 4, 5 years ago. Why shouldn't I talk about it? I should definitely talk about the Ennis situation just like anything else. So maybe he can get a spark. Maybe one of them spark plugs start firing up properly. Teofimo Lopez has sent the message. Now, anybody know, I've been on record as saying that Teofimo Lopez is very solid at what he does in the media. Okay. But recently people have been going pears, kiwi, banana, you know what I'm saying? Oranges, lemons. They have been going crazy over what is supposedly transpiring with the rumor mill of Teofimo Lopez, Jerron Ennis. Teofimo says strictly business. Lopez sent message to Ennis on X. Teofimo Lopez sent the message to Jerron Ennis today on X, letting him know he respects him, nothing personal, but it's straight business with them fighting in early 2025. Lopez 21-1, 13 knockouts, say he's setting an example for his youngin on how to set an example. Now look, imagine how this freaking dynamic has all of a sudden bubbled into something. You know, man, you keep it in the lab long enough, it's gonna bring you some type of creation, right? And look what we have here. Cloud chasing ass Teofimo Lopez. Look, check this out. Check this out how what I'm about to give to you. I'm about to spoon feed to you. The cloud chasing ass Teofimo Lopez is now getting buzz for potentially fighting cloud chasing Jerron Ennis. Imagine how that worked. This is such a magic show. If I ain't never seen it. Yo. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? You got two cloud chasers that's been out here cloud chasing the fuck out of Crawford's name. And now all of a sudden, because from all the cloud chasing, it wasn't enough petrol to get them to the destination of facing Crawford inside that square circle. That's all I'm trying to tell y'all. It wasn't enough diesel fuel to get them where they needed to be. Teofimo Lopez, per Boxing News 24, is setting an example by moving up to 147 to take on Boots. 33-0, 29 knockouts for his IBF welterweight title, possibly on March 1st, and bring him down. Finish what Karen Shukazakin started. This move by Teo shows what other fighters should be doing to further their careers. Ennis' career has looked shaky in his last 4 fights, struggling in every one of them against Karen ×2, David Avanesian, and Ramon Villa. He's primed for a loss against Lopez, who has been pushing for a big fight for the last 4 years since the victory over Vasily Lomachenko. Teofimo's promoter, Bob Arum, at Top Rank, is negotiating the fight with Ennis' matchroom promoter, Eddie Hearn, for a joint DAZN and ESPN pay-per-view event. Lopez, 27, and Boots are the same age. Neither guy has done much in recent years due to the reluctance of top-name guys to fight them. Teo has called out fighters repeatedly, but none have shown serious interest due to the risk involved. So that's kind of amazing that we now have a crossroads, y'all. We now have an intersection in boxing. You know what I'm saying? Seriously. We have an intersection in boxing that's about to get congested. For real. I mean, this is about to be a goddamn checkpoint. Seriously. This is about to be a checkpoint. First of all, let me remind you all that Teofimo's professional debut was November 5th, 2016. Jaron Ennis, right? His freaking professional debut was April 30th, 2016. April 30th, 2016, November 5th, 2016. Okay? Jaron Ennis and Teofimo are the same age, 27 years. Obviously, there has been a different flight, you know what I'm saying, itinerary. The way they have raised up in their career would be what? That Teofimo has done better than freaking Jaron Ennis with 22 professional fights. And the reason why I say that is that he was undisputed in the franchise era, and he currently is the WBO super lightweight world champion who beat Josh Taylor, the former super lightweight undisputed world champion. And he's a 2-division lineal champion. So them being both 27 years of age, right? Teofimo is a 2-division world champion, and Boots is a 147 single division world champion. Teofimo actually won his first title in his 15th professional fight. Stay with me when I break this down. Stay with me now. His 15th professional fight. In his 16th, he became undisputed by defeating a top pound for pound guy in Vasily Lomachenko. Okay? Regardless of what's been going on with Teofimo, right? You know, during that time with him not making $1 million, who cares? This is not on that. I'm not on that type of time right now. I'm just trying to turn some pages right quick to get you spun up, right? So, with that said, outstanding accolades. Well, he was able to beat Vasily Lomachenko. Outstanding. He wasn't able to successfully defend his titles, but he did beat Lomachenko. Had some questionable. He had some questionable fights at 140 when he moved up from 135 after that loss. But then he ended up beating a champion who was a sitting champion at 140 pounds, Josh Taylor. That is an accomplishment that Jaron Ennis haven't been able to do yet. My criticism is not going to waver just because now they're saying that this may be a potential fight. My criticism for Teofimo Lopez is what it is. You know, him and Boots are Terrence Crawford stalkers. You know what I'm saying? They're two cheerleaders that's been goddamn clout chasing his name, and they should have gave Crawford reparations for using his name so much. You know what I'm saying? NIL, name, image, likeness. Both of these fighters should goddamn write Crawford a check. Now it gets interesting, Jerron Ennis, because you came in a little bit before Teofimo Lopez, but you're sitting at 33 professional fights and you never beat a champion inside the ring. And upon everything else that WCS has spoken about, I'm not here to lay a blanket of criticism on Jerron Ennis for how he got the title, unless this fight is legit. Because I have questions. That's why I dropped the link. I really want to speak to Greg. I really didn't have no problem with Greg, man. He's a cool cat, bro. But I know I've seen him break some shit down. You know what I'm saying? He has a level head, bro. I don't see him go off the handles and crash out too, but I'm just saying he has a level head when it comes to boxing, man. He'll talk his shit. And he was a boxer. I just want to ask and try to get just some clarification. I wanted you to provide just a little bit of Windex. I just need a little bit of Windex for the windshield, bro. Because if Jerron Ennis is fighting Teofimo Lopez, that means y'all are in camp as we speak. If this fight is indeed happening, I see it too many places. And when I initially mentioned it, I said I'm not going to jump on it just yet because I just don't feel motivated to play the hocus pocus game. I don't have time for bogus ass clickbait and hopscotch, type of shit that goes on in the boxing media. But this is all over the place. It's on X. It's on freaking mainstream media. Man, it's everywhere. So I'm saying, Ennis, Teofimo Lopez, is it a 50-50 fight? Well, many are going to say, Ennis, due to your marginal freaking performance values in your fight at 147, that this is a 50-50 fight. Can you believe that, Ennis? A smaller fighter moving up, that you and him pretty much became professional around the same time back then. They're going to be saying this is a 50-50 fight. Why? Because both of you all use the same excuse when you don't perform up to standards. And this is for Teofimo Lopez and Jerron Ennis. You all claim that the competition, you all perform better with higher tier competition. You all perform better with higher tier competition. You know what I'm saying? You don't get motivated unless it's the top, creme de la creme. So now you're getting two fighters. One is the creme de la creme at one point in time. He was on the pound for pound list in front of Lomachenko. But you, Jerron Ennis, haven't been on the pound for pound list. You haven't been on the pound for pound list. So if people was to say heading to this fight, there's a bucket of criticism that can go along with it. Why did you select not to fight Ortiz for a bigger paycheck at a heavier division? And now you're bringing up a fighter from a lower division. Well, guess what? WCS don't care at this point. I'm going to leave that alone because, man, it's so fucking contradicting. I could go many, many ways. When Tank does it, oh, man, he's cherry picking. He bringing up Lamont Roach and all this other shit. And then somebody else do it. It's a whole different story. It's a whole different story, y'all. They can't make up your mind how to grade or how to measure how certain shifts move, how certain shifts and business decisions are made, right? So when Tank bring up Roach, it's a freaking problem, and he's a champion too. Jerron Ennis is bringing up Teofimo Lopez. Y'all are not saying it's a cherry pick. But really, if you look at what he could have got with Virgil Ortiz, it's kind of is a cherry pick. But it's extremely difficult to prove it's a cherry pick based off both fighters having subpar performances against lower tier competition. So being that Teo has accomplished more than certain fighters that get called up, it doesn't matter. He's still a smaller fighter compared to Ennis. But the only thing that's very unique about this fight that's going to help Teofimo Lopez not run into the Regis Prograis and Devin Haney is the rematch clause that the IBF has. You know what I'm saying? What did I say that Ennis should do again? I'm gonna remind you all. What did I say Ennis should do? I said Ennis should vacate his title and move up to another division, right? Or go up there and fight a fight at 154 in another division, right? Which he would have had the opportunity with Virgil Ortiz, but he selected not to. He selected not to face Virgil Ortiz at 154. Somebody who would be around his size, equal weight, equitable, freaking appraising value for the fight. But no, he's getting Teofimo Lopez. But the smart part about what Teo is doing is that, yeah, he doesn't really have to pray in the Regis and Devin Haney. Well, Devin Haney came in at 205. You know what I'm saying? Maybe 260. Who knows, man? He looked huge in there. But he got the job done. But the IBF has a rehydration clause. That's going to help Teofimo Lopez. So Jerron Ennis is not going to be extremely ginormous in that ring. And then what's very, very extremely unique, and shout out to everybody that tune in and you will use some of the shit I say and won't even give me credit for it. It's all good, man. But you know, another wild part about this is that, you know how people were saying that Jerron Ennis is a shifty fighter? He's this, that, and the other. But guess what? Teofimo Lopez has been in there with one of the most shiftiest fighters at that time. That is, stamped as having some of the best footwork in the game. Always want to go back to his dad, put them in dancing lessons. How Lomachenko come from all angles. You know what I'm saying? And he's able to dance around his opponents. Yes. And guess what? Teofimo Lopez was able to beat Lomachenko when he was still healthy. He's been in there. He's seen it. And if y'all are not paying attention to him being over there with Eddie Reynoso, that's very, very important. Because Eddie Reynoso, man, when it comes to camp against camp, trainer against trainer, who's over there in Boots camp? They better get another set of eyes. They better get another set of eyes. We're dealing with Eddie Reynoso, a world champion. World champions now. They better get another set of eyes. Or else Teofimo's going to hand Jerron Ennis his loss. 140-pounder is coming up and handing Ennis his first loss if Ennis cannot sustain focus against Teofimo Lopez, who's been in there at the top on the big stage on free TV against a pound-for-pound fighter. I'm being as fair as I possibly can about this fight. I'm not really going for either fighter. But when it comes to the boxing convo, right? All I'm saying is when you weigh the value of accolades up to this point, Jerron Ennis don't even come close. I mean, you got to think about what he did to get it. Even Masayoshi Nakatani was undefeated, and he was a dangerous fighter. Richard Cummings was well respected. He beat him. And we're talking about in his 15th professional fight. 16th did what he did to Lomachenko. Yeah, he had some adversity to defend it and all that. but he beat a pound for pound fighter. So at this point in time, to me, Ennis' resume don't even scratch the surface of a Teofimo Lopez. But to Teofimo's lack of credit, he's been able to have some marginal performances himself. But both fighters claim it's difficult to get up for lower tier opposition. So if this fight is indeed going to happen, let's see it. It's going to be extremely interesting. Now that they're made a shift over to Eddie Reynoso, people, this is a dangerous fight for both fighters. This is a dangerous fight for both fighters. Now, getting back to what I said about him not taking the Virgil Ortiz fight. I don't want to say that there's so much bullshit that you feel some type of way when people just lie to your face, right? But a lot of time the camps, they have this verbal NDA assignment, agreement, or whatever, where they can't really let nobody know information. But from what we heard, when it came down to, hold on for a second, y'all. Okay, I'm back. Shout out to Trick Note in the building with the $2 super chat on that. Appreciate you, man. He said, so I wasn't around, was with, okay. Okay. For sure, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Trick the Oracle in the building. What's good with it, man? Thanks for that $2 super chat. One love to you, man. Much appreciated. Arnold Brown in the building. I see you. What's good? Salute. Conquest, what's good? What's good? Salute. So with Teofimo Lopez, right? What did you run in a situation with them just turning down the Virgil Ortiz fight? I'm asking myself, right? I'm just having a conversation with self. I'm saying, you mentioned that Boots just got out the ring here, just got out the ring there, and he needs some time off and all that. I just don't like, you know, I understand that teams can lie to whoever they feel like because they have like this internal agreement. But you was making it seem like that the reason why he didn't take it, he turned it down, he was undecided because he needed some time off He wanted to be a civilian and all this. But what it seems like now, Boots being undecided, is that potentially this might have been a bigger fight, a bigger name opponent. Because Virgil is Teofimo is a bigger name opponent than Virgil Hill. I said Virgil Hill, Virgil Ortiz. He is. He's a bigger name. So, therefore, it would be a straight duck. We know that. But the lying part, if y'all knew this was ongoing, that means you all have to really jump back in camp and go right through the holidays to be ready for the first week of March, which is only 1 week outside of February 22nd. What do I have to say about that? What is a smart move? Boxing is a business, right? Right there, Team Ennis. I'm gonna be honest. Teofimo Lopez is a bigger name, but for you would have had the opportunity to fight in a higher division, which you're destined. That is your path. That is your path. You're headed towards 154. That would have been a more productive, decision for you to go out there and fight Virgil Ortiz, and also be able to leverage, like I said earlier, your worth when you came back down to 147 to basically start unifying with either Norman Jr., Stanthionis, or Barrios. So, that's my take when it comes to the scrambled eggs that y'all trying to serve. Green eggs and ham, goddamn. I'm like, this is all over Teofimo Ennis. What do you have to gain from this Teofimo fight? He doesn't have a title. And once again, people are up here saying that Errol Spence fought Mikey Garcia. How dare you bring in Mikey Garcia into this equation? How do you do that? How do you bring in Mikey Garcia into the equation, bro? Then Errol Spence only had one title at that time. He had the IBF, right? Mikey Garcia is full-weight world champion, bro. He has nothing to do with how he fighting or why he's fighting Teofimo Lopez for less money than what he would make with Virgil Ortiz over in Riyadh. What does he get? A Teofimo on his record? Team Ennis. That's why I dropped the link to see if Greg Hackett can pull up. I just have questions, bro. Really, it ain't on no disrespect shit, bro. It's just grown men gotta learn how to have a conversation, even regardless if the person is not agreeing with you. And I think he's one of those cats that can do that. But anyway, let me go back to this article right quick. It says Ennis' situation is different. He hasn't been calling out top names. He's not fought anyone notable. And he's done very little on social media or in the interviews to gain a following. Moreover, Ennis hasn't looked good in the recent fights. And some fans believe he's a bust, a hype job that Hearn wasted his money on by signing him. I don't believe Ennis is a bust or a hype job. I truly don't. These authors, they can use this type of lingo and everything, because a lot of them, if you was to see them at a fight, you'll walk right past and you wouldn't even know who they are because their face is not on here. It say, I F with Jaron Ennis and your father Bozy. However, if it got to go with our careers, I got to do what I got to do best and take over. I have a youngin and he needs to see the best example of what a true fighter is. Nothing but love from the side B, just straight business. So once again, Teofimo Lopez is letting it be known that he's making a move that's beneficial to him, and that's gonna pretty much highlight Jaron Ennis. For Team Ennis, it's a huge part of me that's trying to speak to you all, like, without really bringing the military into it. We when we're in charge of troops, we have to make decisions that's absolutely beneficial to the mission. Understand what I just said, Ennis. We have to make decisions that's beneficial to the mission. I don't know what this decision to fight Teofimo benefits you on unifying the 147-pound division and you're 27 years of age. I don't know what you're looking at. I don't know if Teofimo got with you, behind the scenes and say, hey man, if you could do it. I was at 135 pounds my whole career. Man, I stayed there and I was able to get it done. It's gonna hurt, but I don't know if Tio got in your ear. I don't know who's been in your ear telling you that you can do it. You can do. I don't know who's talking to you, bro. I don't think it's a smart idea to basically neglect passing up a huge payday like that just to get into another fight where you're going to be in fight camp anyway. And you're just going to have a fight week. I mean, it's just going to be like you was in fight camp for February 22nd, except your last week will be on the week of the 22nd. I don't appreciate that. It just seems like if it's indeed true, I don't see what the line is, because what you tell us, Ennis, you said me and me. If it's not for me, don't believe it. Well, I haven't heard you come out with anything to deny this shit, dog. I mean, who told you that Teofimo Lopez, you needed him on your resume rather than a Virgil Ortiz that's in a current division that you're projecting to attend real soon? Virgil Ortiz is in your division. It allows your team, yourself, to get a feel of making your debut like the clout chasing fighter that you was clout chasing in Terrence Crawford. You would have got a feel of 154, what it's like. Plus, you would have felt good about that with the purse that you was making from Turkey Al-Sheikh and Riyadh season. But man, I want to say y'all blew it, because Teofimo, at the end of the day, I don't care at this point. Who wins. I really don't give a damn. But I'm just trying to be fair about I wouldn't even call it wisdom. I'm just really doing a review to this whole situation, because I heard, Greg talk about you want to be a civilian, you want to eat, you want to go be with your girl and have some sex and all this. You just got out of fight camp. You just got out the ring November. And now you're about to jump back in the ring to potentially fight Teofimo Lopez March 1st. So now it's a bunch of bullshit. It's a bunch of bullshit, bro, because you pretty much said, if it ain't for me, don't believe it. Well, I've been looking on X. I've been waiting. I haven't seen anything for you to deny this shit. Have y'all? I haven't seen anything, y'all. That's all I'm saying. Like, bro, I'm right about. Somebody told him, hey, man, Teofimo was at 135 forever. Devin Haney was at 135 for an extensive period. Both of them became undisputed. Well, one thing for certain is that, correct, both of them was able to squeak it out, but they did not pick up each title from each division. They fought a title. They fought a fighter who had already had the collective titles together in a bundle. You know what I'm saying? You got the bundle package when it came to Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, George Kambosos. They got the bundle package, but they still go down as being unified champions. Devin Haney is the only one that'll go on the undisputed in the 4-weight from 135 recently. I'm just saying, until they come up with a franchise, that's who's going to move. Haney's going to have that slot. But for Teofimo Lopez to be your next opponent, and you're not gonna, I don't want to know really what you're getting for this fight, what you're gonna pay. I know it's not gonna be equal to that of Turkey Al-Sheikh, but why, bro? Why would you do that? For real? Why would Ennis go out here and make a decision like that with Teofimo Lopez? I mean, I sat and I tried to figure some things out. I said, how does this benefit him? Okay, Teofimo Lopez. Both of them have problems with low TR position. This is going to be, this is going to be the biggest fight of Ennis' career. It won't be the biggest fight of freaking Teofimo's career. So every time that I start just matching and connecting the dots, I say, man, Teofimo really, exceeds the package of achievements when it comes to Ennis. Teofimo does, of all people, who haven't made $1 million, but he has way more accolades than Jerron Ennis. But Ennis selected to fight Teofimo Lopez to take a pay cut from a fighter who's fighting in a division that he has on his horizon, on his radar. Over in Riyadh's season, which would have provided him exposure to Virgil Ortiz, a fighter that's contending at 154. I don't see how Teofimo Lopez benefits Ennis. And especially, I think it's a dangerous fight for freaking both fighters. But more so dangerous when it comes to Eddie Reynoso out coaching whoever's over there in Ennis's corner, because I don't see shit going on over there. I don't see nothing. I don't see too much of anything. Real talk. I don't see it. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't see it. But yo, I would definitely like to get y'all thoughts on this. You know what I'm saying? I would definitely like to get your thoughts on the entire situation. You know what I'm saying? I know I don't do open panels often, but I would definitely like to hear your thoughts, because a lot of people looking at this like, we're happy. Oh my God, Teofimo, Jerron Ennis. But he was just criticizing the crap out of Tank for fighting Lamont Roach, which they say Lamont Roach don't do anything for Tank's resume, regardless if he a champion. And the same thing for Teo. Teo has a lot more accolades than Lamont Roach, but he's still a smaller fighter. And the smartest thing about Teo, who's the current reigning WBO champion, is the IBF rehydration clause. So of course, this is going to be the biggest, the largest fighter that Teo's ever faced. But if he comes in great shape, Teo has pretty good movement that he displayed against Lomachenko to basically dance well with Ennis, who also has pretty decent movement according to which Ennis we see. Stickum Boys Fishing and Sports on deck. What's good? What's good? I see you. You tell me, man. Damn. That's crazy, man. Now, something that's not on my freaking description is the fact that Crawford did indeed put out another, tweet on X recently. You know what I'm saying? And, he's pretty much telling people once again that I will show the world once again how great I am. Now, that can mean many things. That means definitely when it comes from Crawford, he's going to fight another top tier opponent. Who is going to be? Word has it's going to be Canelo. But with boxing, it's just so many back and forths. You don't know what to believe. But if it's indeed Canelo, that'll be a great, outstanding, phenomenal fight to have in 2025. Regardless of what Canelo's going to get, I don't really care. I am happy that Crawford be able to get his highest payday against considerably a pound for pound fighter again. And he gets to go in there and show us once again how great he is. Of course, I'm going for Crawford. Point blank, period. That fight right there is going to be insane when it comes to the odds, the betting odds. It's going to be insane, this fight. And then you're going to have to listen to all the back and forth debates and panel driven boxing discussions on who's going to win. And you're going to have a lot of individuals that may potentially been Errol Spence fans and despise Crawford. They're going to pull out the old Deontay Wilder ticket. You know what I'm saying? They don't support Deontay. I mean, they dislike Deontay, so they're going to go for his opponent. You're going to see a lot of that. If this fight is indeed, on the horizon, well, you'll see it. You know what I'm saying? You'll see it play out where a lot of Crawford haters is going to go for Canelo. A lot of Crawford haters is going to say there's no way that he can beat Canelo. It's going to be Errol Spence Crawford all over again, really. Except this time it's going to be Omaha against Mexico. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be American against Mexico. You know what I'm saying? 4 division champs together. 2 division undisputed. 2 pound for pound fighters. It's the biggest fight in boxing right now. No other fight comes close to Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Bud Crawford. Doesn't come close. No other fight in boxing comes close to this. If you believe there is one, please let me know in the chat. I would like to fully be aware of a fight. It's not Jerron Ennis and Teofimo Lopez. I can tell you that. I can tell you that right now. There's not anything going on at 47. You know what I'm saying? There's not anything going on at 54 that's going to be the biggest fight in boxing. For real. 2025, that's going to be the biggest fight in boxing. Because for one, we haven't seen it. And then people are going to throw in the heavyweight. The heavyweight's about to take place part 2. We already seen how it played out the first time. But this, you have a fighter coming up 2 divisions. So that's going to weigh heavy on the doubt. The critics that's going to be out there that's saying Bud is going to be too small and he's going to be too weak and he's this and this and that and the other. Ain't nobody really trying to hear that. The way the axis is moving in boxing, that conversation is done. That conversation is done. They're gonna if they choose to talk about something that can't stop the fight, and that's added stress on their part. All we want to see at this point is if the fight is going to happen and when. If it's going to be Cinco de Crawford, let it be in May. I'm ready. I'm ready to see Cinco de Crawford go in there and wipe away any doubt that people still had of him. For him to go in there and beat, Saul Canelo Alvarez from becoming 5 division champion. It would be great, absolutely great. It would be so great. It would be like a meteor hitting Earth when it comes to boxing. You have Turkey Al-Sheikh in his presence. You have him setting up the fight. This is going to be incredible. Incredible fight. I mean, huge, dog. I can't imagine what the numbers are going to be like. Unfortunately, I don't know if it's going to be over in Riyadh. Probably so. I know Turki Al-Sheikh is going to be a bit selfish with this and have it over there in Saudi. You know what I'm saying? But either way it goes, it's going to be one of the biggest fights. And if it is over there in Saudi, we're not going to really know the raw numbers, so to speak. That's all. We're not going to really be able to figure it out. But it's going to be crazy for the ring walks and to see this fight happen. I don't know what people, they think Canelo is 6'8". Canelo is not that tall. Canelo is not that tall of a fighter. But every time they turn around, they act like Canelo's just huge and everything. No. I mean, Crawford has the mad scientist over there. You know what I'm saying? Canelo has Eddie Reynoso. You have two camps, two world-class camps, trainers, and you have two world-class fighters. It doesn't get any better than that. Who's going to out-coach who? This is not just the fighters. This is the trainers, the coaches, rather. The coaches are going to be there too on the battlefield. This is epic glory for Crawford. He beats Canelo, man. He shuts down boxing. Look, Crawford shuts down boxing. It's over. It's over, bro. This is what you call a legacy-defining fight. A fighter of Crawford's stature moving up from 54 to 68 to fight Canelo Alvarez, and both of them on the pound-for-pound list again. And Crawford just came off of defeating a fighter on the pound-for-pound list in Errol Spence. And both are 4-division champion. And Crawford has the opportunity to earn an extra division for 5-division champion, 3-division unified. Notice I said unified. I know he doesn't have all the belts. 3-division unified. Oh my God. Forget the parade. Forget the parade, man. The president might have a Crawford holiday, a federal holiday. I'm serious. It might be a federal holiday, man, when it's all said and done, bro. But big shout out to the hottest chat in the MF and game, man. Appreciate y'all for pulling up. And it said I got T.O. beating boots. Okay, for sure. I remember when I think me and you bet when T.O. was fighting Lomachenko, and you bet on Lomachenko. Well, I see you have a change of heart. You know what I'm saying? I see you now have a change of heart to once again go against the brother. You know, and to each his own. You know what I'm saying? Boots like fighting smaller fighters just like Haney. He does, man. But you know, the strategic part about this is that, you know, IBF have that rehydration. You know what I'm saying? Just think about it. It has a rehydration, so he won't be able to just balloon up as big. If he does, it's not gonna affect him. If they come in here thinking they need to be extremely huge against friggin' T.O. to assert dominance, that's just the stupidest thing ever. They should come in there and be fast. Come in there and be fast. Have their cardio up to par. And really make it a great fight. You know, I'm curious to know when this is going to be announced, if it is happening, because it's, you know, everything else, February 22nd has been announced. You know, if this is going to be announced to make it official, unfortunately, man, it's just going to be some bullshit. because I really think it's just a bad move on his part to fight Teofimo Lopez rather than just fighting Virgil Ortiz at 154 for a bigger paycheck, because that paycheck will have pretty much set you, even better when it came back down to 147 pounds. But man, hey, it's only so much I can say on that, bro. It's only so much I can say on that. Seriously, it's only so much I can say on that, bro. They're not gonna listen. Legacy versus purse. You know what I'm saying? Legacy versus purse. Is it a legacy fight versus a purse fight? You know what I'm saying? Ennis versus Lopez. Do we really need to see it? I would have liked him to fight Ortiz, to be honest with you. I'm just being absolutely genuine about it. But man, shout out to the hottest chat in the MFA game. Appreciate y'all for pulling up. Continue to support. I'm out.